Creature Caster has not one, but two new releases.
Spiky Bits.
Welcome back, Hobby Maniacs. I'm Baer from SpikyBits.com. Today we have the two newest Creature Caster releasers in the studio. I didn't know there was two coming. I thought there was only one. So the King of Malifica is their new release. Now the Queen came out, I want to say earlier in the year, but I know we've seen the Queen of Onslaught. And this model is actually two models. There's two different versions of it, depending on if you want kind of like a cool diorama look and feel with a bit more detail, or just, your normal kind of run-of-the-mill when it comes to Creature Caster, right? A version of a ginormous kind of greater exalted kind of type demon. So this is probably their busiest model yet. So let's dive in and take a look at what we have to show you today. We are going to go over to their website real quick. It's not up on there for sale yet. The release date is set to be around sometime September 10th. There'll be like a pre-order period, I'm told, and then they're going to ship out stuff after that. So that's all I know right now, subject to change, asterisk, 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 of course. But let's jump over to the site so at least you'll know where to go around then. So creaturecaster.com is where you want to go no matter what country you're in, because you can't see it on the screen here, but they actually have a country select that can drop down and give you shipping. They will ship out of Canada, of course, US, UK, looks like EU in general. So they got all sorts of stuff going on, and of course you can pay in your local countries type. So there's the Queen of Onslaught. We already talked about her. Now when the King of Malifica comes in and is ready to be sold, it will probably be like right here-ish, and they'll probably have some of the other Malifica type stuff, so you'll be able to click on it. You can get assembly instructions off their Instagram generally, and pretty much everything else should be in the post right here. And of course they might have a free dial kind of deal. They always seem to send us along. I haven't looked in the box yet to see if we got one, but I would imagine there's going to be one for this as well. Whew. So now that we know what we're looking at here, right? This is the King of Malifica. This is the resplendent version. This will be supposedly $149 US. It's going to be a 51 piece kit. It's ginormous. I've already taken a look at this, and there's actually kind of a warp portal on the back here, and you can see where this little, I guess, some sort of demon of change is opening up a book, and it casts a spell, and this dude's just like popping out. Of course, he's got a lot going on here, probably a little bit of homage to maybe John Blanche of sorts, or maybe Ian Miller, a great artist from back in the day as well, that drew a lot of this style. Kind of very, very cool stuff. Got some tentacles, got a lot of things going on. You can't see there's actually a pillar behind the main body of this, and I think there's two different heads as well. So that's just the resplendent version in a nutshell. Let's take a look at the ascendant version. So this is kind of a side look, just to kind of give you an idea of how much is included with this. This is the ascendant version. It's going to be about $119, so about the normal price. And you can tell, it doesn't have as much going on. There's some optional pillars and things down here that it swaps out with the other one. There isn't that big warp portal with the little demon duders, but he's still got, his tentacles and his books and holding scrolls and different wing pinions and all sorts of different things going on here. I guess he doesn't have wings, more like talons, but so this kind of gives you an idea of a little bit more of, it's kind of a less busier version, but it's still very well detailed in everything you would come to expect from Creature Caster right down to the base. And just to give you an idea of exactly how big these both are, this is the Ascendant version right here, which is just your standard large size box, which we haven't seen a lot of their miniatures come in that. And then this is the Resplendent version, which actually comes in a small box and a large box. So it's chunky. It's got a lot of options, and we're going to open this up, lay it all out, and take a look here in a second. Holy cow. Okay, this is the Ascendant version, $119, all laid out. Comes in 3 big bubble bags. All very well protected. I didn't see any busted parts or anything like that. I mean, some of this popped off their sprue, but who cares, right? That's not as big of a deal. So you've got your standard size base here, and I actually forgot. I think this is I want to say that's 100 mil. So let's measure that bad boy right there real quick. Yeah, so it's roughly 100 millimeters wide right there, about 4 inches US. And so, it's going to go along with your cask, bigger, greater, exalted demon things. From what I've seen, and some people already painting these work in progress, you can leave off the pillars and things and still glue this guy down, but I'm not exactly 100% sure yet, but that's kind of how I would approach it. Speaking of approaching it, I mean, the detail is crisp and fresh. I mean, look at all that, like, crazy. If this isn't chaos, I don't know what is, right? And that's got, like, some sprue pieces right there. You're going to probably need their Instagram account, or sometimes I think they post it over on their blog in their community section, like the assembly instructions, because this all, I'm not going to lie to you, all these pieces kind of look the same, right? I mean, I can tell there's two different heads right here, which look great, and very, you know, changey sort of thing right here, but from there, I don't know what else, you know, like, there's just, I think that's a head. Yeah, I think that's a head. We're gonna find out. But everything else to kind of put together and things, it's gonna be a little bit of a chore. I feel like this is easily, you know, the King in general is their busiest model, but sometimes it's those models that paint up the best and look the most striking when you do like sick fades and things like that. But I mean, they did a really good job, independent, you know, like sculpted like little feathers on all this, you know, little scroll jars and ribbons and all sorts of intricate things that you would expect from something like this, and runes and crazy looking armor right here. I mean, it's so much, it's hard to kind of focus in and take it all in at once. Like this little spell book's pretty cool on this guy, where he's kind of holding it, and it's got, you know, some little scroll jars right there, and it's almost like alive and sentient itself with things, you know, kind of coming out of it. But it's really hard to kind of focus in until, I guess, you know, it kind of all comes together on the tabletop, and then try to kind of put it all together. So let's take a look at the other model. And remember, this one is I think like 36 pieces, slated for like an hour to 2 hour build for this one. And here's the first box of the King Resplendent. This has got the larger components in it, and here you can see the little change demons kind of doing their thing, holding up the book, starting to open that portal, and maybe tinker a little too much where they shouldn't. So I think this is where the portal bits kind of start building themselves out. Here's the pillar that goes on the other side of the base. So depending on which version you want to build, I don't think there's two different bases. So I think this goes here and then builds itself up, or it just is another, yeah, there's no different. I might have to check that. And then you've got the main body right here. Like I said, it's all going together kind of crazy, and then this goes here and starts to form that body, and then there's the little twisty thingies right here that are going to go in here. So there's already a lot going on, but you can tell, you know, like, these dudes look really cool. They're kind of like the dramatic foil to the little disease demons that we saw in some of the disease contagion demons and things in the past. So they're definitely up in their little follower hanger honor game for sure. All right, so second box is the big Chongo box right here. There's actually more parts in here than I'm showing you, but I wanted to talk about this for a minute because I like to lollygag and talk about businessy stuff sometimes. So the reason why I know, you know, and I've been talking about Creature Cast for 5-6 years. They did their Kickstarter. There was some hiccups with their Kickstarter, but they made it all right. And that's what's important when it comes to our industry and our small community, because you got to do right by people, right? And if you don't, you get found out and you go away very quickly. What's cool about this is that Creature Caster figured out that, hey, this little bag of parts is the same that's in the smaller version, well, I wouldn't say smaller, I'd say less part version, the Ascendant kit, right? So instead of like mixing everything up, because you got wings and things that aren't going to be in that, you've got this portal and all these other pieces here that aren't going to be in that one either. So they figured out that, hey, we can just, you know, keep our assembly line, or however they do it, separate, and this is, you know, all the parts for either one of these kits right here. So that's very smart. You know, we see it with companies like Games Workshop, like they'll make one sprue and they'll reuse it over and over and over again into different things and different components, and that's kind of what they're doing here. And it's cool to see anytime a company has an accessory or comes out with a new innovative way to kind of package and retail their products. So all that aside, I just like to nerd out on things like that when I see it, because it's important to me, because it's like, hey, these people get it. Like they get it, and they are, you know, really trying to take their company to the next level. And it's important to note that, because these are the folks that, you know, generally we can support and that will, you know, for the most part do the right thing and stuff. So let's talk about this portal. Like, this portal is crazy. Like, look at this thing. Like, I don't even know. I think this is the back, and then this is the front, and it's got little swirlies coming off it. Here's a little swirly, like, kind of changed genie demon. These kinds of guys look like little genies, almost, right? So I'm sure he hooks into the other guy there. And then this is the different body here that you know, is coming out there in little swirlies. I think this goes on top of the pillar, if I'm not mistaken, and I don't know, part of the arm. And then these wings, like, let's talk about these wings. Like, they're not like huge and over the top like we've seen in the past, where they've got a couple of different you know, ridiculousness that goes together, but they do go together somehow, because I can see it right here. So maybe they slot into the model, but they got these little ridges on here to help give them you know, a little bit more strength. And then look at the individual sculpt, like the feathers on these things. Like, this is insane. Like, look at this. Like, that detail is just nuts. Like, there's not much else out there on the market today. So like I said, you know, it's very cool to see stuff like this, very pronounced, and you can do washes and things on this book. And this little change, oh wow, that's weird. He's like literally sitting on top of that other demon's head. Okay, well, all right. So that is the two unboxed. Now let's get these bad boys together and see what they look like assembled. So here is the assembled ascendant model. This actually has a different base than the other one. I didn't realize that. So it looks like this is indeed a different base, at least is what I can. No, maybe not. Now that I'm looking at it, man, I can't even tell anymore, because this, oh yeah, he is stepping on this. So the little demons, the little change demons, lock in right here. Okay, I see it now. And then there's the different pillar with the fire on top of it for the other one. So this has the kind of bird head here with a little bit of flames on it. And yeah, there's definitely a lot going on with it. There's no lack of detail. The detail is very well done, of course, but you know, it's definitely a busy model, and one of those that might be kind of challenging to folks, I could see. Now, I imagine, that being said, this is one of the models that I think we're going to see painted up the most, with the most range of different colors. Whereas things like the Onslaught demons and the, you know, some of the disease stuff are all going to kind of be locked into colors. Whereas this type of demon can be any color, and all of them all at once. So like, we're going to see some crazy like reds and magentas and blues and pinks and maybe even yellow. Like, who knows like what we're going to see on this. And I mean, it's pretty dope. Like, so let's take a look at the sizing. Like, if we compare it up to, say, something like a Primaris Space Marine, and that's gonna be like right there. So definitely exalted / greater status on the demon side of things right here, right? 100mm base, and then we'll grab. So here's. It doesn't even fit all in the frame. Look at this. Here is the resplendent, and yes, there's a whole lot going on here. And you know, this is probably one of those models that, and you can see where the demons lock in, like right there. It is the same base. The portal and everything can be glued down separately, which definitely lends itself to being painted separately. So he's got this tail kind of corkscrew spiraling out. It's almost like it tells a tale, right? Like, you've got all of this happening right here, like they're opening and summoning, using books to summon, and then he just boop right through the gate. And then you've got these dudes with the pillar just kind of doing their thing and onlooking, and there's some fire on top of it. So again, and you can see where he's actually kind of pouring through the gate right there, or the warp portal, or whatever you want to call it. So a lot going on. Now this is the more human head that's kind of on fire too, as you can see it. But man, I just popped a piece off right there. Oh well. So wouldn't be the first time, I'm sure. And you know, I'm kind of handling this a little rough, unfortunately. But this, you know, like I said, this is going to be one of those models that you're going to see the most variety of color, like swirls and all sorts of like different prints on the wings, like maybe tiger print or something like that. Like, it's just going to be crazy. It's just going to be nuts. Now here's the two of them together. Let me see if I can do this without destroying things. And you can see where the basic body, the torso, the feet, the tentacle leading up to the books right there on my thumb, and then the arms are all very similar. But then you start seeing where it gets, you know, kind of crazy with the wings and the portals and the little change demons and the pillars and all sorts of things right there. So really it just kind of comes down to what you're looking, you know, to do as a project, like something on this level or something on this level over here, you know, some ridiculous like over the top showpiece, you know, for some sort of thing, or just, you know, your kind of standard like you know, running like a sort of change demon thing right there. And you know, I kind of like this one. I think there's something to be said for both. You could assemble it in, you know, in stages and in different parts, and then kind of glue it all down together, which I think would definitely be, oh, I chipped a couple of the wings off right there. So you got to be very careful with the models themselves, you know, as you're handling them. And I think gluing them all down like this probably isn't the best idea at first, you know, just because it'll be hard to get in there with some paint. So that's all I got to say. I know I say it's probably been like 10 minutes already, but that's all I got to say about these miniatures here. So these will be available very soon from Creature Caster, the new king of Malifica. You've got the Resplendent and the Ascendant over here. So brand new releases. Check them out from Creature Caster around September 10th, 2020. Coming your way, coming in hot. Which one will you buy? Well, I guess we'll find out very soon. So thank you very much for watching this video. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you can be the very first to like and comment on all our videos.